talk about the dangers of this new field spell design that we are currently experiencing in the game. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So it appears that Konami has taken a new approach to producing field spells that make monsters unaffected during a certain turn, phase, or something. And this includes the Tenpai field spell, which makes every fire dragon unaffected during the main phase 1, which means no Nibiru, no effect Veiler, none of this crazy stuff. And then they gave Gimmick Puppets a field spell that says your cards are unaffected by, or your Gimmick Puppets are unaffected by activated monster effects other than non-machine effect monsters. So, what in the world does this mean going forward for this design space? Because this is, a lot of people are like, well, you know, Konami's trying to phase out hand traps. I mean, yes and no. I would argue that it feels like Konami has taken note of how crazy certain hand traps can actually be in the course of the game, and is actively making a push to maybe rectify that situation. Because hand traps have been such a huge part of this game, and I would argue that they're one of the only reasons why certain decks can actually compete, and that's fine. But with the way that these combo decks are taking all of this super large amount of time, I think that Konami's only answer to try to come up with ways to kind of fix this situation was they needed to create a way to make it that your cards can actually resolve. And that's where, you know, you look at the Tenpai Dragon stuff, and, you know, we call it the ignorant FTK, or the ignorant OTK deck for a reason, because you just kind of slap your stuff on the table, and then you just proceed to push as hard as you can. And I know a lot of people are very, very upset with having something like Tenpai Dragon exist in the game. You know, it's like, how dare they make this deck? But it's like, you've got a couple of options if you want to beat Tenpai, you know. The first one is you make decision trees to make them go first. Yes, they can play Heat Wave and blow you right back on out, all right? But, like, that's the thing, all right? This is... Heat Wave having competitive application in the game is hilarious to me, all right? Like, that's cool, all right? Like, I know, Floodgates, oh no, like, how could they? But it's like, it's a 3-of that's unsearchable. Like, who cares if it comes up? Like, I'm sorry that your competitive experience was just ruined because you ran into the one Tenpai player having a good day that just drew the Heat Wave and went... You thought you could outplay me by making me go first. Shame on you, you know. There's nothing you can do about that. That's variance at its finest in the game right now, and I think that's fine, honestly. You know, having decks like Tenpai Dragon that can play through... You took 15 minutes to take your turn? It's going to take me less than a minute to slam this field spell down, make all my crap unaffected, / make a Black Rose Dragon to blow up everything, or go battle phase... smash in, you know. It's, and also by designing these field spells in this space, you don't have to make, here's the best part, all right, you can sell new cards by slapping these clauses on it. If you make generic cards like this, then obviously people will play them and pick them up. That means that you benefit every deck in the room, you know. That's not what it feels like Konami wants to do here. Konami wants to make these cards, but they want you to buy new cards. It always comes down to the old money out here. You want strong archetype that's unaffected? You give money now. And that's this, I feel like, the story of this right now. So, Tenpai Dragons being able to have these ignorant modes that are basically unaffected by stuff, I understand, all right? I get it. It's completely ignorant. It's BS. But in this current economy of, you know, meta developments, it needs to happen. Now, on the flip side of the equation, you know, what about Gimmick Puppets being able to FTK out here? is it a little bit fair that, you can see, but Robbie, they're unaffected by everything. And no, not entirely. Imperm still does technically exist in the grand scope of this. The only thing I'm kind of taking away from the Gimmick puppet situation here is, with them being unaffected, you're just going to have to be a little bit more choosy. Oh, no, you can't throw down a veiler, a mourner, and things to cut this off. I get that. It's a little bit discouraging, sure, but that's just going to make you focus more on things like Imperm, or just win the dice roll. Duh, if I go first, I don't have to worry about this. It means we can set up, all these little floodgates, goes in rivalry. Oh, wait, they play under those? Yeah, they're machine? Okay, well, there can only be one then. You see what I'm getting at here? Like, with these field spells that try to make these things unaffected, just play the out to them. And that reminds me, if you open There Can Only Be One against Tenpai Dragons, you probably win the game, because they're locked into one dragon. I'm really glad that the TCG chose to limit the only out. Yeah, those floodgates really are the bad guys out here, but they're the only things saving us from certain other things. So I guess my next question is we explored Tenpai Dragons getting this with the crazy chance to make them, or create this crazy OTK scenario with the deck, which I still think is good. And then we chose to expand it with Gimmick puppets with the FTK scenarios out here. But my question is, where do we go from here in terms of the design of this? Because if you fool me once, fool me twice, well, shame on me at that point. We've now got 2 field spells that are involving some sort of... I think they've got the formulae down now. Field spell that searches, field spell that makes unaffected. All right, like, that's the new thing that you want to see here. If you get those 2 things on a field spell, that's all she wrote, everybody. It's packing in, all right? Your locals' experience got ruined by the OTK deck. Get good, all right? Oh, wait, you over there in the corner, you're playing the OTK deck? You're an absolutely evil duelist, all right? And it's like, that's going to be the duality of these conversations for the next year and a half, as they continue to explore this space. But like I said, I wonder what other archetypes, or how they're going to design and explore these, because seeing more anime archetypes get this sort of support, I think would be pretty cool, But you can't just hand these field spells to everybody. I think we're gonna, not only are you gonna see a lot of excitement with these style of field spells, you're gonna see a lot of people be very upset because their archetype didn't get this sort of field spell. I know, it's the duality of things. So you're gonna be like, oh, Gimmick puppet's got the power up, and then you've got everybody else over here in the corner going, why did my archetype not get this level of support? And it's like, well, they've learned their lesson. They've saw what they've needed to do to fix these sort of archetypes for them to do their thing. Imagine if Altergeist got this level of field spell. Imagine if, I guess technically Yugi's deck getting a Shining Sarcophagus field spell of this level would be... Imagine if the new Yugi deck, 3rd set down the line, got a field spell. It was like Realm of the Pharaoh or something. And it's literally like all of your cards are unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects, and it also searches for, a card that mentions the Shining Sarcophagus. Like, that would be the craziest... That you wanted to make Yugi's cards good? There you go. And I now think that Konami realizes, after the successful test of Tenpai out here, that they've realized, well, hey, we just started slapping this on every archetype. All of these duelists are going to start coming out here, and it's okay. They'll make some sort of hand trap that'll counteract all of this. You're in the natural cycle of power creep right now. You will cycle through this. Konami will make some sort of crazy unaffected method of things, and then boom, you'll get a battle phase Kurikara-esque monster, Nibiru 9000, 5 years down the road from now, that cleans up all of the problems that these new field spells have effectively created. Or maybe they'll just make a friggin' Cosmic Cyclone quick play spell card from the hand that we can use during the opponent's turn to clean up this madness. Personally, I think that'd be kind of cool. I feel like that'd be how you'd address a lot of the situation for this. So, what do you think about the new field spell madness? Come on down with tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back later today, guys. Peace out.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.